Hey everyone, welcome to Southern Sexuality. We are here with David and Brian today. Brian's an interior designer. Can you say cliche? And David is a high school teacher. Tell everyone in our audience how you guys identify.
I identify as he, him, and male.
Yes, exactly for me. Yes, I've always loved being a man. I'm a man.
Okay, and Brian, where are you from originally?
I'm originally from my mother.
Okay. And where did
From
she
another
live when you met her?
I was born and raised in Western New York, just outside of Rochester, New York.
Okay, and David?
I was raised in the little town of Clarkston, Michigan, which is about 30 miles north of Detroit. It's not so much little anymore. The town is growing very much, and we still have my mom and dad's little house on Walden Road that they built in 1956. And my two children live there currently.
So, David, you have two children.
I have three children.
Three children. And Brian?
3 children.
3 children.
We're the gay Brady Bunch.
Two girls.
The Gady
two
bunch.
girls and one boy. One boy. Yep, same.
Any
mix.
grandkids yet?
Yep, I have a grandson.
That's right, recently.
Yep.
Congrats
He's
again.
8.5 months old now.
Nice. Well, how did the two of you meet all the way from upstate New York and Michigan?
Yeah, I was divorced and I was living in Minneapolis at the time. And after 14 years of living in Minneapolis, I had it with the cold, and I'd made plans to leave to move back to the East Coast. And so while I was doing that, I was also on a dating website, and saw this handsome fellow on the site, but he was from Michigan. So I was like, okay, it gets me out of Minneapolis. And then we met, and that's my side of it.
Okay, yeah, I think I saw you first, I remember. And it was like, okay, Minneapolis, oh boy. But I clicked on your site, and once you click on a site, at that particular website, it shows on your end, oh, look, somebody clicked on my site.
Okay.
But you answered right away. And then we were texting a little bit of general questions. And I was really excited. I'm like, oh, he seems like a really nice guy. He's into sports and running, a runner, because I love to run too. And then the only bad thing about it that first time is like you said, okay, I have to leave now. I have to go to bed. And I'm like, oh, all right, well, go.
I was working 2 jobs, and
Okay.
I had to be really strict about my workout schedule, my sleeping schedule, and so I was usually in bed by like 8 o'clock at night.
But
I was like, good night, gotta go.
And did you move to Michigan eventually? Or
I did, yeah. So we got together for a weekend, and I realized then that this was someone I wanted to be with. And I gave notice to my job in Minneapolis. They didn't have a company in Michigan that I could transfer to, so I gave them notice that I was going to be leaving. Plenty of notice. And then we had made a couple trips back and forth since then. I thought, hey, this is the guy I want to be with, and so I was like, let's do it. And he was like, so soon?
Yeah, I'm like, whoa, wait a minute.
We know, so why do we
I guess so.
Of
we're
course.
pussyfooting around, I
Right.
guess.
Yeah,
That's
good
been
one.
since-
Pussyfooting
We
around.
knew.
It's almost been about 10 years, 2014.
Yeah, 2014.
10
Going on
years.
10 years that we met.
Well, okay, so how long have you lived in South Carolina?
We've been.
And how did you get here?
Yeah, great question. Go ahead.
Yep. So I was a school teacher, high school teacher in a rural town just north of Detroit. Have been there for many years and doing college adjunct also. And we decided to start our own company. Ellen Russell Design is our interior design company. So I left that teaching position to work full-time in the company, and that worked out really well. And then my sister and her husband have lived down in South Carolina for many years, since about 2005. And we come down here vacationing all the time. And so I just love the climate. It wasn't as far south as Florida, so we'd be closer to the family. And so in 2016, since we were into interior design, we purchased a home to do a flip in 2016. but didn't move down until early 2018. So finally made the move down. Working in the business still.
It was never on my radar to move to the south. That was
No.
just not my existence. I'd always lived in the north and stuff like that.
Same here.
But you'd always been coming down to the south on vacations
to
and stuff.
Florida and South Carolina were
So
the major
when-
destinations.
When we got together, you just started dragging me along with you. And
Yeah,
we
I was
had fun.
born and raised
like
in the
it.
cold tundra of the north. Although Michigan's not that bad, but I never could get used to the cold.
Right.
And since-
When we started driving down in 2016 together, we were looking for homes that we could flip,
Yeah.
markets that
Yes.
were good, sustainable for flipping homes, and we were steered toward all the large metropolitan areas, and some of the smaller ones that had been built up,
Mm-hmm.
Spartanburg, Greenville, Charleston, but when we checked them out, all the homes were either
Savannah.
not available or way outside of the price range to make a profit.
Mm-hmm.
So one trip down, we were going to Charleston, wasn't it? And we thought, we're going to be going through Columbia. Why don't we check it out? So we contacted
yeah,
an
that's
agent.
right. Okay, I
Contacted
remember,
an
yeah.
agent,
Mm-hmm.
and that day they showed us a couple houses, and we made an offer
I
on.
was just like, let's pick
We're
Columbia.
doing that one.
Tell us about your garden and how you did
Well-
all this wonderful work.
I think I kind of inherited this from my mother, whose gardens, she loved gardening, vegetable gardening, flower gardening. In fact, I have some of her hydrangeas that I brought back from Michigan here. Yes. So, and she's not with us any longer, but I still have the house in Michigan, and my children live there. But that's inspired me to create my own gardens. And I love the tropics. It's not that
And that's
large
how
of a
we-
city like
And that's how
Chicago or New York. It's just the right size.
And
we got here. Lots of opportunity.
yeah, Columbia, your house is magnificent, by the way. Everything
Thank you.
you've done is magnificent. The garden. Columbia is, I think they see themselves as somewhat progressive. A small
Within the city.
city, but a city who. How do you feel? Are you out here in Columbia? Are you comfortable
Oh, yes. Definitely.
being out and about?
When I first came out to my family then, and 10, 15 years ago, I made a pact with myself. I would never be inauthentic again. I would always just be my authentic self. Whether or not people accept that, I couldn't control that.
And is your family supportive?
Very. Even my children and my ex-wife, they're very loving. We have a very close relationship. My family's very accepting. His family's
It
very
is, yes,
accepting
yes. I
of us.
speak with my ex-wife at least probably once a week, and just in general about the kids. And
So for me,
it's not an animosity.
yeah,
I
when we
don't
came
think.
to Columbia, it never crossed my mind that there might be any type of discrimination or frown upon or anything like that.
I've never felt
feel
it.
like we've just always been able to be our authentic selves here.
Right.
Yeah, and I don't. So
We might have, maybe I have a little reservation of walking down the streets holding hands, and
Gotcha.
I shouldn't have that.
When you go to the supermarket, do
Yeah.
you feel comfortable?
Oh, yeah.
we could. I don't think it's something
think
we
we could
normally
here.
do, but we feel like we could if we want. If we
Right. I
Yeah.
think so.
Yeah. We're not demonstrative in our public display of affection as it is.
I don't really
Every once in
even
a while, I'll
see
put my arm around
heterosexual
Yeah.
couples
I'm fine.
doing that. I don't
Yeah.
really downtown.
I'm fine.
so-
I'm fine with showing him warmth in public. If I
Your church, you go to church?
Yes.
Yes, we attend the local Lutheran church here, and very supportive. Our pastor is wonderfully supportive. The congregation is great, is a good support as well.
And we help out. I have been assistant minister. Brian has been an assistant minister, or we'll do some lecturing, or the communion assistant. So I love to help out. I wanted a church to go to. I was Catholic, born and raised Catholic, and for whatever reason we kind of shied away from the Catholic faith. And so we got led here. That's my calling, because I asked God, get me to a church. And so that little Lutheran church popped up, and I'm actually participating and helping out, and I really
Yeah.
feel good about that. So
Wonderful.
I've had,
And we like our church
Oh,
family.
yeah. it's a good relationship with the pastor, who's not off in the distance.
Yeah.
She's
the
Right there
congregation
She's one of
accepts
us.
you,
Right.
it kind
Yes.
of-
Yeah,
Oh,
we can
yes.
actually call her by her first name at times,
Okay.
where it's appropriate.
And as I said earlier, your house is magnificent. Did you? Who's Ellen? Are you Ellen or are you
no,
Ellen?
when we were forming our company back in Michigan, we wanted the name of our company to reflect our aesthetic, what we were hoping to achieve, and we wanted elegance. We
Elegance,
wanted
yes.
a classic name for the company. My sister, whose name is Ellen Russell, is those things. She embodies those principles. She's classic. She's she has a great sense of a great eye for design, and she's just a really great cosmopolitan person. And we thought, let's ask Ellen if
Yeah,
we
we
can
asked her.
ask my sister if we can use her name for the company. She was
Yes.
thrilled.
Okay.
So that's how Ellen Russell Design came about.
Gotcha. And the landscaping. Who did the landscaping? Did
That's
you?
that's predominantly David's idea, his brain
David.
function. I just dig dirt.
The garden is just.
Plant this. No.
He knows where things belong, and
I
I'm
think
Did
I
you do
picked that up
gardening
from-
in Michigan?
Oh yeah, I picked that up from my mother, who is since a little boy. She would always garden. I've actually got some of her plants from Michigan
Yeah.
that I brought down here.
Wow.
So I picked that up from her. I mean, she would have vegetable gardens, flower gardens, and I just enjoyed that. I should have been a biology teacher, plant biology, and a business
etymologist or
teacher.
something. Yeah.
But I love plants. It's like, oh, I gotta have that one.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes,
Yeah.
that's the part of the designer part of him that he hasn't learned yet is how to edit yourself.
Yeah. Stop.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Your garden.
Love
is
coming out here because these are all, you can just pick some, eat it. That's basil. And I love arugula, especially on pizza.
We typically eat the vegetables out of the garden we have. We don't
Yeah.
we don't harvest a whole bunch and then do something with it.
And is that a he shed?
Yeah.
It's a greenhouse.
That's a
Yep,
great name
it's
for
a
it.
greenhouse, and I finished it, a month ago now, probably.
At least,
Not
yeah.
quite done. We got there's a big open space on the side that I'm building a wine bottle window. So I'm going to turn all the wine bottles that you see there on their sides, and then epoxy them into this window space. So it's going to be a big wall of color when the sunlight,
Yeah.
western light fade comes down.
I myself, I have a black thumb, and I mean that literally.
Mm-hmm.
I just keep buying plants. They just keep screaming for water
Yes.
and keeling over. So hats off.
Oh, you're not alone.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for giving us a view inside of your
Yeah.